That's it. Sorry.
The 1999 Canadian Grand Prix is remembered mainly for the events that happened at just one corner, but there was so much more to this historic Grand Prix, as you'll see in this video. Coming into the race, the championship was still tight, but Michael Schumacher was beginning to build momentum with 2 wins on the bounce and pole position for the Grand Prix. Mika Hakkinen was second on the grid, and it was Ferrari McLaren as the 2 wingmen lined up 3rd and 4th. Rubens Barrichello was best of the rest in 5th, and every single driver had managed to qualify for the Grand Prix. When the race got underway, Schumacher moved across on Hakkinen, cementing his lead. Behind them, Fisichella made a move for 3rd, but watch as Jarno Trulli spears across and plows into Alesi and Barrichello. Shades of the starting crash from the previous year, but with less flipping, of course. Somewhere out there, a young bit Antonio Liuzzi is watching his countrymen and thinking, I think I'll recreate this one day, why not?
Back on the track again, but a lap down.
It's not my fault.
Trulli was out, Alesi was out, Wirtz was out with an unrelated transmission issue, but amazingly Barrichello was still in the race. His suspension must have been made out of diamonds. The drivers then found themselves behind the safety car, which amazingly only stayed out for 1 lap, and when it came in, the order almost immediately reverted back to the classic Ferrari McLaren. Here's Coulthard passing Fisichella to make it so, after Giancarlo's flying start. The second crash of the day came straight away as well, as Riccardo Zonta took his zipper liveried BAR and made it even more half and half by smashing up the right side. And there goes Alex Zanardi, dropping it from 8th place. Goodness, what a start. The safety car driver might fancy himself for some points here. Luckily, the restart was unproblematic and the race began to settle into a rhythm. The chaos was far from over though, as you all know.
Look how close he goes to that wall.
Foreshadowing? The first champion to go was Damon Hill, who had been off the pace all weekend and decided to try being off the track as well. He was rather blunt about what had caused this.
Well, it was an accident. I crashed the car.
Yes, you did, Damon. Yes, you did. Anyway, you all know what happens next. Michael Schumacher crashes out from a commanding lead. Kaboom! He became the 2nd champion and 3rd driver in under 30 laps to hit the Quebec wall. Mika Hakkinen now led, followed by Irvine and Coulthard. Incidentally, Barrichello and De La Rosa have also both retired off-screen, but in less dramatic circumstances. And there's Ralf Schumacher going off from 6th place in exactly the same way Zanardi did earlier. What is it with both Schumachers doing badly at the same time? That happened in the last episode of Random F1 Race Views as well. Amazingly, the Hungary wall wasn't done yet as it claimed its 3rd champion of the day, Jacques Villeneuve. Just to remind you, this wall has now claimed 2 Schumachers, with one of them being in practice, both BARs, and 3 world champions, with Villeneuve being both of the latter. There was clearly just no grip in that corner whatsoever. Here you see Villeneuve crashing out of his home Grand Prix in what I think was the biggest hit of the lot. The safety car was once again deployed, and predictably everyone made their first pit stop. And when I say everyone, I mean literally everyone. The situation now was that Hakkinen was leading, followed by Irvine, Coulthard, Fisichella, Frentzen and Diniz, although there were 2 battling backmarkers between Hakkinen and the rest of the field. Interestingly, the safety car back then was not driven by Bernd Mailander, but by future Corvette factory driver Oliver Gavin, who was at the time racing in International F3000. When the race restarted, Irvine was distracted by the backmarkers and Coulthard was able to drive right around the outside of him. But they touched! Irvine spun and Coulthard found himself off the road and in the grass. Both cars resumed, but a long way back from Fisichella and Frentzen, who were now 2nd and 3rd. Also look at Herbert passing Diniz for 5th place there as Ralf Schumacher had got up to 4th. I personally think this incident was Irvine's fault, as Coulthard had been alongside him for long enough to have earned some space, and Irvine just seemed to turn in and expect him to disappear. The stewards obviously disagree with me though. They gave a 10-second stop go to David Coulthard. Whoever's fault it was, Coulthard pitted for a new front wing. All of a sudden there was a different battle on for 2nd place. Fisichella and Frentzen were being really badly bunched up and held back by Badoa and Panis, who were fighting for 11th place, and who really should have been getting out of the way here. The 2 front runners must have been fuming. Watch this as Badora and Panis go side by side into the chicane. Fisichella almost loses it into the wall, and Frentzen ducks through into second. Crazy stuff. Rumour has it that both backmarkers received large wads of cash in unmarked envelopes after this race from an unknown source.
With the Jordan team this year, they love him, he loves them.
We're a happy family. By the way, if you're wondering where Eddie Irvine is, he's in 6th place, locking up trying to pass Johnny Herbert for 5th. Meanwhile, here's Zanardi on his way to retire with a braking issue. Back to the battle for 5th, that's a brave one. Whoa, they both missed the chicane. The Wall of Champions almost had another feast there, and Herbert is not happy. Let's see if his move on Ralph is any better. Yes, that looks more like it, and Irvine is 4th. Sadly, Heinz-Harald Frentzen was not able to finish on the podium in a race where he did so well, as his brakes failed at high speed, causing him to crash heavily. Luckily he was okay, if a little shaken, but guttingly 2nd place went down the drain. The race finished behind the safety car for the first time in F1 history, which was rather fitting for what had been a crazy and chaotic Grand Prix. Mika Hakkinen won, followed by Giancarlo Fisichella, Eddie Irvine, Ralf Schumacher, Johnny Herbert and Pedro Diniz. Guys, before I give this race a score, I want to let you know that I have a Daily Motion account for all the races that get taken down from my YouTube channel by the pesky FOM bots. Due to the high levels of parody, review and education my videos contain, as well as the short lengths of the clips I use, I believe that all of my videos fall under fair use, but sadly this isn't always enough. On my Daily Motion account, you can find the 1996 Monaco and Portuguese Grand Prix, as well as any other video that may end up being taken down from my YouTube channel. The link is in the description. Thank you. I gave the Grand Prix a 9 out of 10 overall, which incidentally is a joint record for this series, for its highly unpredictable nature and the excitement of seeing Irvine fighting back through the field after his incident. It also had high championship implications, as Schumacher's accident and Hakkinen's win turned the tide on the championship and put the McLaren driver in a commanding position. Interestingly, the crunch count was not the highest we've had on this show, as the 1996 Monaco Grand Prix had 12, but you'll have to check out my Daily Motion channel to see my review of that one. I'll give the Driver of the Day award for Best Driver to Frentzen, who was doing a fantastic job up until his accident, which quite simply wasn't his fault. I'll give the Inouye Trophy for Worst Driver to Jarno Trulli, because damn, that's a lot of damage.
It's not my fault.
Drive safely guys, and I'll see you next time.